Hi, and welcome to another episode of ZdayPreps. My name is Eric Ekstrand, and I am here to talk about winter weather. Winter weather is something that those of us in the Great White North, and no, not Canada, Minnesota, it's close enough, have to deal with on a pretty regular basis, at least 9 months out of the year. So what do you do when you're dealing with a zombie horde and freezing your butt off, for lack of a better term? Well, you know, the good thing is that most of the zombies are probably already dead, or at least they're frozen, not dead. They're already undead. Yeah, I get it. So I don't want to see any emails correcting me. Anyways, so they're already frozen. So what are you going to do? Well, you know, you could hunker down because you're probably freezing unless you're someplace warm. You know, hopefully you've gotten yourself into a cabin in the northern part of the state. But the problem you're dealing with is it's cold. Today, matter of fact, it was minus 11 with a minus 40 wind chill. So you've really got to think about personal safety because the zombies aren't a problem right now, but frostbite, hypothermia, and all those other issues that come along with the wonderful chilly weather that we get to enjoy here in Minnesota is something that you'll have to come to terms with and deal with. So here's my advice. This is what I have learned. Well, first of all, find yourself a place to hunker down for the winter. So if it's kind of like the grasshopper and the ants, right? The ants, you guys all know that story. God, I hope you know that story. You spend all summer and spring preparing for the winter. And if you're going to stay in Minnesota or any of those northern states that get really, really cold, you might be in a situation where you got to prepare for the winter. So you need to stockpile provisions. You also need to think about mental stability because if it's really cold and you're not going to be hanging out outside very often. So you got to maybe get some games. Hopefully you've got some companionship and get some cards and find ways to keep your mind active because cabin fever is a real concern, especially when you're going to find yourself indoors for a significant period of time with not much else going on. So the good thing is that, like I mentioned before, the zombies are pretty much frozen. There's not a lot you can do with them. They are, they're probably statues out in the field somewhere. And what you could do to pass the time is go take care of business. They're frozen, so they're not going to come after you. You can pretty much take them out. So the nice thing is in the winter, you're going to actually be able to sleep at night, bearing that you're not dealing with any roguing bands of villains and bad guys. But you're going to actually be able to sleep at night for once. You're not going to have to worry about a zombie horde coming after you and trying to break into your house. You're going to actually be able to rest, which is actually pretty nice. And frankly, there's not a whole hell of a lot to do in the winter anyways. So you'll be able to sleep, you'll be able to relax, you'll be able to enjoy yourself and take it easy, this is not a bad thing. So some things to think about as you're contemplating your zombie survival in a very northern or cold climate. The good thing is that if you have the opportunity to bait some animals like deer, which are plentiful in Minnesota, especially in the northern areas, you're going to have an opportunity to hopefully draw in some food. So even if your provisions are starting to wear down, hunting is still a good opportunity and possibility. You're going to probably want to save your bullets and your ammunition for other needs and purposes, such as survival from roving bands of delinquents and or the zombie hordes when they start thawing out. But if you use corn or some type of other baiting mechanism, you can maybe draw some deer towards you, so it wouldn't be that hard to hunt after them. And depending on the zombies that you're dealing with, hopefully they haven't eaten them all. But deer are pretty good about getting away from things, so they survive with wolves and other predators in the area that they're gonna be able to survive some slow moving zombies. So some definite things to consider. Also, you hopefully have set yourself up with some winter gear. I can't stress to you enough to really make sure that you are prepared for winter survival. Making sure your body is completely covered, and especially your feet and your fingers and your face. The tips of your nose, your lips, your fingertips, your toes. Those are going to be possible. They're going to be more prone to frostbite. So it's really important that you make sure that you have yourself very well taken care of from that perspective. Make sure that you have dry clothes, and be very, very careful of lakes and frozen lakes, because you won't have the DNR out there marking thin spots. You'll have to make sure that if you are traversing ice, that you're being extremely careful from that perspective. The other thing that you might want to consider is that if you do go ice fishing, there are probably going to be plenty of ice houses around, which is really nice. But just remember, you may be at risk of having a zombie reach through that hole after you. Depending on how the cold water is going to affect them, it may slow them down, but they're probably not frozen. So you get 20, 30 inches of ice on top, you still may have the potential of a zombie just trying to claw its way up through, or pulling your line down or something like that. Because remember, they're not frozen underneath the water. So some safety tips and concerns that you might want to focus on and be wary of as you're dealing with winter zombie survival. So we are always concerned about and on the lookout for new ideas. So if you have any ideas or suggestions, feel free to email us at info@ZdayPreps.com, info@ZdayPreps.com. I hope you enjoyed this little video and this helpful information, and we will definitely get back to you real soon with the next episode of ZdayPreps.com. Take care, and you guys survive out there. Are you ready?